The grass doesn't move like grass should. 80 meters from safety. 70. The family of Homo erectus walks faster, sensing something wrong in the air. 60 meters. The smell hits them, feline, predatory, close. 50 meters. A shadow detaches from the tall grass. 40 meters. Yellow eyes lock onto the smallest child. 30 meters. The Dinofelis has been following them for 2 hours, waiting for this exact moment. 20 meters. The saber-tooth charges. 10 meters. Someone screams, and in the next 15 minutes, the African savanna will run red with proof that humans were never meant to survive the Pleistocene. If you want to see the most brutal prehistoric hunt ever documented, don't look away. 2 million years ago, Quênia belonged to the killers. The Pleistocene savanna stretched endlessly, a sea of grass hiding death in every shadow. This wasn't the Africa of safaris and conservation. This was a slaughterhouse where predators perfected the art of murder over millions of years, and humans were just another item on the menu. The sun was dying. Blood-red light painted the grassland as shadows grew teeth. In this twilight zone between day and night, the rules changed. Herbivores retreated to whatever safety they could find, and the hunters emerged. 7 figures moved through the grass with desperate urgency. 3 males, 2 females, 2 children. Homo erectus, beings caught between animal and human, smart enough to fear death but not strong enough to prevent it. They'd been foraging all day, finding barely enough to survive. Now they needed to reach the cave before darkness unleashed hell. The eldest male led, his scarred face a map of every time death had missed him by inches. He carried a fire-hardened spear still wet with blood from the small antelope they'd killed at dawn. Behind him, a female clutched an infant to her chest, the child silent because noise meant death. The youngest boy walked at the rear, limping from an injury that made him slow, made him vulnerable, made him prey. 100 meters from the cave. So close. The boy stumbled, went down hard with a yelp that cut through the evening air like a knife. The group froze. That sound, that single moment of weakness, changed everything. The female with the infant smelled it first. Feline, carnivore, fresh. She made a guttural sound, danger. The eldest male's head snapped left, scanning the grass. There, 60 meters away, the grass bent wrong, moved against the wind, then stopped. Complete stillness. Not stillness. Hunting. Subscribe now, because what happens in the next 60 seconds will haunt your nightmares. His mind raced through possibilities and landed on the worst one. Dinofelis, the primate killer. A saber-toothed cat built specifically for murdering apes and early humans. Smaller than a lion, faster than a leopard, with 6-inch fangs designed to crush skulls. Where other predators went for the throat, Dinofelis went for the head. Instant death, no struggle, no escape. The eldest male gestured frantically. Move, now, stay together. The males formed a defensive wall around the females and children, weapons raised. They moved faster, but not running. Running triggered the chase response. Running meant death, 80 meters to the cave. The grass moved again, this time on the right, then behind them. The eldest male's blood turned to ice. It was circling, testing, looking for the weak point. This wasn't just predation, this was strategy. 70 meters. The infant started crying. A soft whimper the mother couldn't silence. That sound carried across the savanna like a dinner bell. In the predator's mind, it painted a target on the weakest, slowest members of the group. 60 meters. The Dinofelis made its decision. The grass exploded. 300 pounds of prehistoric fury materialized from concealment like violence given form. Tawny muscle, yellow eyes, and those fangs, curved, serrated, glistening, caught the dying light. The cat moved at 30 miles per hour, covering ground so fast it seemed to teleport. Target: the limping boy. The eldest male screamed and launched his spear with every ounce of strength in his body. The weapon flew true, striking the Dinofelis in the shoulder. Blood sprayed. The cat twisted, snarling, breaking its charge. 3 seconds. The boy scrambled toward the group. 3 seconds that felt like salvation. But Dinofelis had been killing primates since before humans learned to make fire. It recovered with terrifying speed, attention now locked on multiple targets. Most predators would retreat. Not this one. It saw exhaustion in their movements, smelled fear in their sweat, knew they were at their limits. The second male charged with a rock raised overhead, brave and stupid in equal measure. The Dinofelis met him with a single swipe of its massive paw. 4 claws opened his chest from collarbone to stomach. Ribs cracked. Blood erupted in arterial spray. He dropped, convulsing, drowning in his own blood before his brain registered what happened. If you think this is brutal, you haven't seen anything yet. Hit that like button and keep watching. The females screamed. The infants' crying reached fever pitch. The smell of human blood saturated the air, thick, metallic, promising. 40 meters from the cave. Might as well have been 1,000. The eldest male understood immediately. They couldn't all make it. The Dinofelis was faster, stronger, designed by millions of years of evolution to kill exactly this kind of prey. Someone had to buy time. Someone had to become the price of survival. He didn't hesitate, didn't think, didn't allow himself to feel. He threw himself directly at the saber-tooth, weaponless, using his body as a missile to create chaos. The cat caught him mid-leap, and they crashed into the grass in an explosion of claws, teeth, and desperate violence. His hands found the cat's face, fingers digging for eyes. The Dinofelis' jaws clamped around his throat, fangs punching through muscle and cartilage like they were designed to do. He felt his windpipe collapse, tasted blood flooding his mouth, but his hands never stopped clawing, never stopped fighting, never stopped buying seconds. "Run!" he wanted to scream, but his throat was gone. "Run!" They ran. The female with the infant sprinted with everything she had. The third male grabbed the boy, dragging him forward. The remaining female cast one backward glance at her mate being shaken like prey, his neck snapping with a wet crack that echoed across the savanna. Then she ran too, because grief was a luxury the living couldn't afford. The Dinofelis dropped the body and raised its blood-soaked muzzle. Yellow eyes tracked the fleeing survivors. The calculation was instant. Pursue and maybe catch one more or secure the guaranteed kill. The cat chose certainty. It dragged the corpse into the tall grass and began feeding. The sound of tearing flesh and cracking bones followed the survivors up the slope. 30 meters. 20. The boy's legs gave out. The male yanked him upright by his hair, half dragging him. 15 meters. The female with the infant reached the cave entrance first, spinning to watch the others. 10. The male and boy crashed through the opening, collapsing against stone walls, gasping, sobbing, alive. They waited, weapons ready, for the Dinofelis to follow, for the nightmare to materialize from darkness. But it didn't come. One kill was enough, for now. Night swallowed the savanna whole. Inside the cave, 4 survivors huddled around a fire that felt pathetically small against the vastness of the dark. No one slept. Sleep was vulnerability. Sleep was death. The female stared into flames, infant pressed to her chest, silent tears cutting through the dirt on her face. Out there, 200 meters away, her mate's body was being consumed by something that had existed before their species learned to dream. The man who had protected her, provided for her, died so she could live. The third male checked his spear with shaking hands. 2 dead, 4 survived. The brutal mathematics of the Pleistocene. He glanced at the boy, the slow one, the injured one, the one who had stumbled and made noise and drawn death to them. The boy who had cost them everything. He said nothing, but his eyes spoke volumes. The boy sat apart, knees drawn to his chest, understanding for the first time that weakness killed everyone, not just the weak, that the world beyond the firelight was vast and hungry and patient, that something could be watching from the darkness right now, waiting for the flames to die. Outside, the Dinofelis finished its meal and cleaned blood from its pores. It watched the distant fire with yellow eyes that held no emotion, no satisfaction, no malice. Just the cold, ancient knowledge that this was how the world worked. Kill or be killed. Eat or be eaten. Survive or become food. Tomorrow would bring new hunting opportunities, new prey. The cycle would continue as it had for millions of years, and the fire would eventually die, and someone would make another mistake, and the Dinofelis would be waiting, because that's what it had been doing since before humans learned to be afraid of the dark. The fire crackled. The infant whimpered. Outside, the savanna breathed with the sounds of predators moving through grass and prey trying to survive one more night. And the question that haunted them all remained unanswered. Would dawn come before the fire died? This is Extinct Killers, where survival is never guaranteed and every sunset could be your last. Subscribe for more stories from the age when humans were prey. Comment below. Would you have made the sacrifice? And brace yourself for the next episode, because the prehistoric world was far more brutal than you ever imagined.